Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel and to yet another video. So in today's video, bismillah, we're going to talk about two mindset shifts that are important to have as a student, or like if you're on any academic journey. And this is directed from one of you guys who commented in one of the videos that I posted, and I'll post the comment over here so that you guys can see it as well. But it was talking about something around self-belief as a final year student, as a Form 4 student. And just to put it out there, I do understand, guys, the pressure that comes with being a final year, just in primary school, high school, or uni, at any stage where you are like doing something for the last time, and like there's a huge step that actually determines a lot about your life. There is quite a lot of pressure that comes with it. And I think one of the pressures that come with it as well is the idea of like, am I able to achieve whatever I want to achieve? And that is really, really important. One, I would say you are on a good track if you're thinking on that particular way, because if you are concerned that you want to achieve whatever you want to achieve and how you're going to achieve it, most likely the pressures are either going to affect you, I would say 75% in a good manner, and push you to do something towards your academics, towards your life, to make sure that you get whatever grades you want to achieve, or like whatever success, or like whatever goals you want to reach at. And also the 25% isn't going to come in a good way. It's going to put a lot of pressures on yourself. It's going to make you doubt yourself, make you, like have constant headaches, for example, just feel anxieties and everything. While some of these things are unavoidable, I'd like to address something that is in our control and something that we can do to sort of make that particular idea, or like perspective, or like shift in mindset, that is going to help us during, like help everyone during this period where you feel a lot more stressed and your confidence is shaken, to the core. So what I tend to say, or like what I tend to believe myself, is that during those moments you need to actually believe that you as a person, you as the Form 4 candidate, you as the final year medical student, you as whatever stage you are in, whether you're a second year, you're a first year, whatever academic level you are at, you are actually capable of achieving whatever you want to achieve. That's one. And being wherever you want to be, that's second. Because this shift in mindset, that you just tell yourself, like, you know what, in as much as everything is hard, I do believe that I can actually be there, and that belief is so important, guys, because it doesn't just, at temporarily make you feel better to the idea that, oh, I can have a good grade, I can have maybe a successful academic journey, I can have a successful year, I can go to the next year and proceed with my academic journey. But then it not only just does that to that particular time, it boosts your levels and boosts your energies, but it also prompts you, because if you think that I am capable of doing ABCD, then you at some point need to put in the work to get you to that particular place. And the belief is like a jump starting point, a point where you get to start. Like you actually believe, like, subhanallah, like, yeah, I believe I can get an A. I believe I can get a good grade. I can believe I can get into a good high school. I can get into a good uni. I believe ABCD. I believe that all the things that I want to achieve are achievable. And if you think in that perspective, then you ask yourself, what exactly can I do at this particular point? Or like, if this didn't cross your mind, then the next thing after believing that you actually can do something, is you to ask yourself, or like come back to the drawing board and tell yourself, like, yes, I do believe that I can achieve this success. And this is what I want, and I do believe that I want it. I do believe that I can achieve it. Sorry. So if that is the case, then what can I do at this particular point to get myself to that particular success, or like that particular grade, or that particular uni, or like that particular year? If I'm a first year, for example, like what do I do at this particular point to get myself successful in fourth year or fifth year or sixth year, depending on whatever degree you're doing or whatever course you're taking in uni, So it has the benefit of boosting your energies. That's one. And then two, it helps you to jumpstart and kickstart yourself into taking action, like shifting all the way. For example, if you're in a lazy rut or something, like if you're at a place where you're unmotivated and you're thinking, like, what's the point of doing all this? But if you believe that, oh wow, I can achieve this, then I need to do the work. You need to put yourself out there, like do the work, show up, be consistent, and do everything that's possible. And بإذن الله تبارك وتعالى, you are going to be successful. Number two, something that it recently crossed my mind this past week, when I was doing some revision, I was doing some reading, and then I was like, I was reading, but then I was really engaged somewhere else within my head. I was understanding whatever I was reading, and I was involved in whatever I was reading. But then I was thinking, like, yes, I am reading, but I was answering questions that were already being asked, like later on. Well, it's a good way to sort of approach reading, like where you are starting with the end in mind, like you're thinking, or like, where can I apply this information, like how can a question be asked on this particular topic, or like whatever I'm reading, how can it come in form of a question, or like how can it come in form of an exam, or like anything. It's a good way, I'm not refuting that as well. But then what caught my attention was that how much of my focus was on, how am I going to remember this, how am I going to like articulate answers, how am I going to remember this when I'm asked ABCD, how am I going to remember this when I'm, for example, presenting in this particular manner. So I paused for a while and I thought, like, subhanallah, like this is not happening to me for the first time. I'm quite sure like this has happened to me numerous and several times before, when I was maybe revising for my FQE, revising for my like final exams every semester, like, you know, like in high school and everything. We tend to put a lot of pressure on ourselves when it comes to reading and doing the actual thing. For example, I'll give you guys an example. Maybe you're reading, or like maybe you're doing a certain task, you know, we tend to put a lot of pressure on ourselves, like, oh, how am I going to remember this in an exam? How am I going to do in an exam? Like, how am I going to perform in this particular exam? For example, if you're revising maths, you're like, oh, okay, I'm revising, but like, what grade am I going to get? Like, how, you know? Well, it is important, like I said when I was beginning this point, like it is important to think of it in that particular perspective, like how is my end result, if, for example, if it's something that you're doing, like if you're thinking, how is the end result going to be? It is important, like I said, but it also, at some point, it's not going to affect you in a good way, because if you focus on the end result, which at some point you literally have no control over, you end up not only like affecting whatever you are doing, or like whatever you're studying. That experience itself ends up becoming a very bad experience, because you're constantly overwhelmed with these thoughts. You're like thinking, okay, like what is the results going to be, what is the performance on this video going to be, what is ABCD, like you are thinking about so many things, while if you just brought yourself back and asked yourself, like, what is the single most important thing at this particular point, and you'll just find out, like, it's just reading, getting to read, getting to know the material and understand it in a good way. That's all that is required from you at that particular point. Because trust me, if you understand the information and you put measures into place to recall that information, then you're sorted. Because if it comes in an exam, you'll know how to answer it. If because back way back, you while you are reading, you understood the topic, you put, like, you came up with mnemonics, for example, to recall the facts that you were reading. And doesn't it just like click at the end of the day? And then when it comes to the action, for example, if you're doing something and you're worried about the end result, where it's not, yeah, again, it's going to affect how you're going to do the work, because you're going to be constantly stressed and the experience is going to be bad. And whenever you're thinking about doing that thing again, you're constantly stressed again and you don't want to do it again. So at the end of the day, you are expected to come up with the results, and the results are not going to be good if the work itself wasn't good. But if you focused on doing the work and doing it really well, then the results are going to take care of themselves. Like, that's another mindset shift that I think is really important when it comes especially to studying. Do not worry about the grade you're going to get. I know it's important, but if it's overwhelming enough for you, just put it on the side and focus at that particular moment when you're studying. Focus on like understanding the material, uh, trying to put measures to recall the material, and if it's important, like memorizing the material, then do the memorization at that particular point. Whatever grade you're going to get, whatever end result you're going to achieve, leave that for that particular time, but do اللي عليك. يعني what is what are you required to do at that particular point? Do that particular thing. Stop stressing a lot about the future. Stop stressing a lot about the results you're going to get. Because if you actually put in the work and you do the studying as you are supposed to do, then the results are going to take care of themselves. I guess that is pretty much what I wanted to say in this particular video. And I think that these mindset shifts are not only just applicable to studying, but applicable in life as a whole. So guys, if you are a high school student, or like you're a student in uni and you're currently, like, facing challenges with your academic life and your academic journey, and you are ready to, embark on a journey where, like, you solve these problems, get help, and change the narrative on your academic journey and your academic story, then here at Tutored KE, we offer such kind of help through our mentorship and tutoring programs. So feel free to check them out, and I'll leave our Instagram down below so that you can contact us at any time. And I'll see you guys inshallah in the next video. Assalamu alaikum. If you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.